All right, welcome back. So now we are in section 2.2, and for these notes, some of them will be done in class because I think it ties well with the quiz that we're going to be taking this week, and the other part is going to be on video notes. So again, these video notes should be pretty short because we're not doing the whole section. So now that we know the difference between a relation and a function, we want to look specifically at a function because in an Algebra 1 and an Algebra 2, the shapes that we graph are only functions. So our three shapes in Algebra 1 are quadratics, that's a function, linear equations, those are a function, and let's see if the third one pops up anywhere. I'm not seeing it right off the top of my head, but there's the exponential, which is kind of this like curve that goes up. So what is function notation? So first of all, you're going to see this, f parentheses x parentheses, and we say f of x. So f is for function, and x is that traditional variable, x and y. They don't always use f of x. Sometimes they use h of x, h of t, g of m. You'll see some as we go through the examples. So what will happen now is this box. Instead of y equals 3x minus 8, you now have f of x equals 3x minus 8. So what you need to realize is that we're just taking this y and we're just rewriting it with f of x. They are the exact same thing. F of x is the same as y. Okay, so don't be afraid of it. It's like, you know, when a female gets married, we go from Miss to Mrs. So think of this as Miss and this is Mrs. All right, so what are the different things? So in section 1.1, we had given x find y, given y find x. Well, here, when you see this, notice that the x is replaced with a 3. So when you see this, it means I actually want you to find y when x is 3. All right, so when the number in the parentheses is given to you, that's your x, that's your input. But then you might see this, and remember, f of x is just y. So I'm really just asking you, or sorry, not asking, telling you that y is 7. So if you see this, that just means find x when y is 7. And these are both things that we did in our first chapter. All right, so what we're going to do in this section, really, really short, is we are actually just going to finish this page and then the notes are done because we will finish the second page in class. All right, so how to use function notation in a graph. This is just a spin-off from that first chapter. So I'll give you x, you find y, I give you y, you find x. But now it's I give you x, you find f of x, or I give you f of x, and you find x. I know, really exciting stuff. So just a reminder, this is a quadratic, f of 0. What this is saying is find y when x is 0. So remember in those first videos, x tells you to move left or right. So if I always start at the center, I'm supposed to go left or right. Well, 0 means I don't move left or right. So instead, I need to move up or down to get to the graph. And I'm actually on the graph, so I don't even have to move. So what we're going to do is we are technically finding y, and we're going to write it this way. So last chapter, we wrote it like this, y is 0. But now we're going to write it, my function, when x is 0, is 0. So this is saying if x is 0, y is 0. All right, so what does this mean? This means find y when x equals negative 3. So again, I've given you x. We will have to go left or right. Since it's a negative number, we're going to go left. So I'm going to go left 3, 1, 2, 3. And now that I'm done going left or right, I have to go up or down. And so I'm going to go up to get to my shape. And I'm going up 1, 2, 3. So the answer is, last chapter, we would say, well, y is 3. And in this chapter, we're going to say my function, when x is negative 3, is 3. And again, that's the same as y is 3. All right, now it's switched. So you're going to find x when f of x is 0. And again, that just means find x when y is 0. So y tells me to move up or down. So again, we start at the center, and I'm supposed to go up or down. Well, up or down 0 means I don't go up, I do not go up, and I do not go down. So instead, I'm going to go left or right to reach my shape. And I'm actually on the shape, so I don't have to go anywhere. So since I'm not going anywhere, that means x is 0. So here I'm okay if you just write your answer like that. If you want to kind of keep up this notation, so when x was 0, that meant y was 0. So whichever you're more comfortable with on this one. All right, and this, you're going to find x when f of x is 3, which just means find x when y equals 3. So again, I'm given y, I go up or down. I'll go up since it's positive, and now that I've done going up and down, I'm going to go left and right, and I'm going to go left. And I went over 1. So I'll say, well, x was -1. And again, I can write it, x being -1 comes from y being 3. I could say it like that. All right, let's try it again, and this time we're not writing it out, we're just going straight to the math. So again, this is our other shape, a linear function, quadratic functions, linear functions. So when it's in the parentheses, I give you x. Your job is to find y. So again, I give you x, you go left or you go right. Note the scale. So going over to 1 is here, and then I have to go up. So there's 2, there's 4, there's 5, there's 5.5. So it's technically y is 5.5, but I want you to write my function when x is 1, my answer is 5.5. This time I'm telling you that x is -2. So you're going to be telling me y. So x is -2, I need to go left, and now I have to go up. So I go up 2, and I go up to 4. So y is technically 4, but we will write it, my function when x is -2 is 4. And finally, this time I'm telling you, switch colors, that y is 6, so you're going to find x. So again, note the big difference. This is x, and when it's not in the parentheses, that's your y. So if y is 6, now I have to go up or down, so I'm going to go up to 6, and now I go left or right, and I'll have to go right, and I'll go over 2. So x is 2, and we're going to keep up that format. When x is 2, y is 6. So again, the way that's circled, this is the best way to be writing your answers. It's what's going to be expected in your later math classes. So now that we're done with the video, remember, wait till it says circle green check mark. Please note we're going to be doing this in class. All right? So there's no expectation that you go through this. Again, it's very similar to what we did in our first chapter. What you can do is go ahead and get started on this practice, and then we will be checking this in class. So we'll be checking this the day I actually see you. So make sure you have this part done. So use this graph. This is h of x, all right? And here's the equation that goes with it, and just use the graph to answer these questions. I should have put a little equal sign here, and I didn't. And I think this will be fine, and this will be fine, and this will be fine. And this one might give you some questions. So if it does, we'll definitely have time to ask that in class. All right? So again, just a reminder, when you are done, you need to take 2.1 on page 4 and submit it to OneNote. That's this page. Make sure you read the directions. The other thing you're going to be submitting is page 6 of your notes. So when we're done doing this, you're going to take a picture of it, and you'll be able to do that in class. And then finally, the other thing that's going to be done is page 7. So I actually have to probably take this back. Page 6 is the part that we're doing in class, so I'm going to take away that due date that's here, and I'm going to say due in class. All right? And again, some of it's just practicing submitting things to OneNote. That's it. I'll see you in class.